Are all your customers fabulous to work with and massive fans of what you do? Or do you just have that odd sprinkling in there of people who seem to constantly expect that little bit more and can just somehow make you feel in the end that little bit unappreciated? I think it's really easy to find yourself in a place where you feel as though you're bending over backwards for your customers, and yet almost the more you do, the less they actually appreciate you. And working with people who don't massively value and appreciate you can be quite a challenge for your self-confidence and for the general confidence of the business. But also, it doesn't give you the wonderful, joyful experience that running a successful business can be. So I wanted to give you some tips today on how to manage those slightly too demanding customers and bring the balance back in your favour. So my first tip is to make absolutely clear right up front exactly what it is that a customer is paying for. Something that you'll find is that customers just don't remember what it is that they've signed up for. If you've had conversations, Zoom calls, meetings, various bits and pieces and paperwork going backwards and forwards, the simple truth is that customers just don't remember all that nitty-gritty detail. So putting something in place where you go back to them just after they've signed up and you absolutely clarify their exact arrangement with them is a really good way to get that business off on exactly the right footing. The second thing to think about is making sure that you nip it in the bud when they do start to get that little bit too demanding. Now, I often refer to it as customers being a bit like the naughty children in this relationship. It's kind of their job to test their boundaries, but that means that you're the parent in the relationship. So it's your job to make sure that you make those boundaries absolutely clear and you adhere to them. So when you've got those customers who, they keep asking you for extra amendments or just an extra quick call, or they're messaging you constantly, or whatever that thing is where you're just getting that extra request and extra request, just look to nip that in the bud. And it doesn't mean that you have to be brutal about it and that you have to be, very obsessive about what's in the contract. But it's quite easy to go back and say, look, we'll do this for you this time. It's not normally covered by the contract that you've signed or the deal you signed up for, but we're lovely people, so we'll do it this time, but I just need to let you know that we would have to charge you for that next time. So you're still being lovely, you're still giving fabulous service, but you're not bending over backwards and actually giving away all of your time or all of your expertise without being paid for it. Tip number 3 is to keep a bit of a proactive eye on just how much time you spend either with each customer or on the work that you're producing for each customer, because it's really easy for that to just go on and on and on, and for you to allow that even if the customers don't demand or expect it. I think when you run your own business, we all want to deliver a fabulous service and we want our customers to be really, really happy, but sometimes that leads us to over-service. And if we spend far too much time or far too much resource with each customer, then we inadvertently end up underpricing what we do and really limiting what we can actually earn as a business. So just keep that eye on that for yourself and make sure that you're not constantly going above and beyond when actually the customer doesn't even expect that of you. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is to bear in mind that customers do actually love to be managed. If you think about yourself as a customer, if somebody says to you, in a friendly, supportive way, not in a military way, but, if somebody says to you, look, here are the deadlines that we're working to. If you get this to me by this date, then I will do such a thing by the following date. And when you're given that level of clarity and accountability, that's great. Whereas if somebody gives you a few weeks, just come back to me when you're ready, it's really hard to prioritise that. So actually, customers love to be managed. So set them clear deadlines, make it very clear what the next steps are, explain to them around turnaround times and things like that, and make that level of accountability and deadlines clear to them. And actually, you'll probably find that that will work much better for both of you. So that's number 4. And my final tip, number 5, is just make a choice not to work with dickheads. The simple fact is it's your choice who you work with. And if you've got some customers who are too demanding, rude to you, constantly late paying, stuff like that, then you just don't have to keep working with them. Now, I know that making that decision to let a customer go feels incredibly awkward. And, you know, sometimes that can feel quite daunting for the business as well. But what I've seen time and time and time again over my years in this business is that when you do that for the first time, when you choose to proactively release a customer, what that actually does for your confidence is massive. And it also makes you feel as though you're taking your own business more seriously, you're in control, you're being a proper business owner. So those are my 5, not 10, 5 tips today for how to manage your slightly unruly customers. So make sure things are super clear with them right at the beginning, because they won't remember what they signed up for. Nip it in the bud if they start demanding or expecting things that are outside the scope of what they've signed up for. Keep an eye on exactly how much time and effort you're delivering to each customer. Remember that customers love to be managed, and remember you don't have to work with tickets. That's it. So hopefully that's been useful for you. Please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel or drop me an email reply. And of course, share this video with anybody else who you think could benefit. Thank you.